What's up, everybody? This is Kaiana Miller from the Hear Me Out Sports Podcast. We're talking Week 9 wide receiver stardom sit-em. Let's get to it! Okay, like I said, Week 9 stardom sit-em. As always, we're going to review how we did the previous week. So looking at Week 8, we were 76% overall. That's start and sit combined suggestions. But stardom this week, like I said, I promised you guys the previous 2 weeks weren't good. I promised you Week 8 would be much better, and it was. I was 21 out of 28 on the guys I told you to start. That's 75%, of course. Overall, there were 35 wide receivers that scored at least 12 points, which is our threshold to stardom. And I properly chose 21 of them. So that's 60%. But again, 21 out of the 28 that I told you to start ended up hitting. So that's really good. And I would have been even better. I had 3 close calls, but still a really good week for me overall. I think this is one of my best weeks so far this season. Sit-ums, I was 36 of 47. That's even better, 77%. So again, overall, Week 8 was a huge success, and we're looking to continue that momentum going forward into Week 9, which leads us to our bye team. So there's 6 teams on bye. It's the most so far this year. 6 teams on bye in Week 9. The Cleveland Browns, the Dallas Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the New York Giants, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the San Francisco 49ers. So if you have any wide receivers from those 6 teams, make sure you get them out of your lineups this week because they won't be playing. The big names there are probably Deebo Samuel, CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper's been having a good season. So those 3 guys are probably the biggest names there. Broncos receivers haven't done much anyway. So again, get those guys out of your lineup, those 6 teams on bye this week. So don't play them. Hopping right into it with our Thursday night game this week. It's the Eagles, who have been great, versus the Texans, who have not been great. So I'm not expecting a very good Thursday night game, continue the trend for most of the season for Thursday night games. I'm not expecting a very good one. I think that the Eagles are going to kind of blow them out. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on the Eagles side. I'm starting both of them. Texans defense can't really stop anything, so I don't expect them to stop A.J. Brown coming off 3 touchdowns or Devontae Smith, who's a very skilled wide receiver in his own right. On the Texans side, I'm not starting Brandon Cooks. I think rumors are he might get traded this week. So if he gets traded, you can't start him anyway for the Texans. But I'm not starting Brandon Cooks regardless of if he's on the Texans or not. I'm not starting him this week. Nico Collins didn't play last week. He was injured. But even if he does play this week, I'm not starting him either. The Eagles defense is legit. They're going to shut down the Texans. It's not going to be a close game. So starting A.J. Brown, starting Devontae Smith, sitting the Texans wide receivers. Chargers, Falcons. Hopefully, Justin Herbert hasn't looked great this year, but he's been without his number 1 receiver, Keenan Allen, for 5 of the 8 games so far. So hopefully Keenan Allen plays this week. I think that it's trending towards him playing as of right now. This is Tuesday, so I could be wrong. But if Keenan Allen plays, I'm definitely starting him. Mike Williams is going to be out a few weeks, so Keenan Allen is going to be the true number 1. The Atlanta Falcons are beat up in the secondary, and their secondary is not great anyway. So I'm starting Keenan Allen, and I'm also going to start Josh Palmer in this game. I think Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer are the guys you want for the Chargers right now. And obviously sitting Mike Williams because he's injured. So I'm not going to count that as me being right. I'm just letting everyone know again that Mike Williams is injured and he'll be out this week. DeAndre Carter, I'm also leaving on the bench though for the Chargers. Falcons side, they don't throw the ball enough. Even in a high scoring game against the Panthers last week, they didn't have any wide receivers that broke that 12-point threshold. So I'm sitting all the wide receivers for the Falcons until they show that they actually want to throw the ball. So sitting Drake London, sitting Olamide Zaccheaus. Dolphins, Bears. Dolphins, you're starting Tyreek and you're starting Jalen Waddle every single week, especially against this bad Bears defense. So starting Hill, starting Waddle, enough said there. Chicago Bears, I was going back and forth. I want to start one guy because I think that the Bears offense this week is going to have one receiver that breaks that 12-point threshold. And I was leaning Darnell Mooney initially, but I actually think that the Dolphins, if they need to focus on anyone, it's probably him. So I think Darnell Mooney is not going to get there. But I do think N'Keal Harry scores 1 touchdown, and I think that that's going to be enough to propel him to 12 points. The Bears have been actually using him, unlike the Patriots. So I think N'Keal Harry has found a home as far as a team that is willing to use him. And I think that this is his first week where he's worth a start. Panthers, Bengals. So DJ Moore looks like with PJ Walker is getting the ball a lot, and I expect that to continue. Bengals defense hasn't been good all season, and I don't think that they're going to flip it around this week. I think DJ Moore has another good game, but I'm also starting Terrace Marshall Jr. for the first time this week. Ever since Matt Rule was fired and Steve Wilkes took over as coach, Terrace Marshall Jr. has been in the lineup and he's been playing. So I expect Terrace Marshall to have a pretty decent game, and he's going to be worth a start. But I'm sitting Laviska Shenault, sitting Shi Smith. Bengals side, without Jamar Chase, I'm starting T. Higgins. I think that he's kind of their only guy that they're really trusting in these situations. No, I don't think Burrow trusts any of his receivers as much as he does Jamar Chase, but I think T. Higgins is as close as it gets. Tyler Boyd, while I do like him, I don't think that the Bengals are going to have two wide receivers that are worth starting this week against a pretty solid Carolina Panthers defense. If the Panthers have one weakness, it's against the run, not the pass. So I'm starting Higgins. I'm sitting Tyler Boyd. Packers, who have been awful against the Lions. This is going to be, I think, if the Packers lose, it's going to be a huge turning point in the season as far as Aaron Rodgers just kind of going off on his team and talking even worse about them than he already is. So I think that the Packers can pull this one out, but I'm not saying that with much confidence. Allen Lazard didn't play last week. Even if he does play this week, I don't think he's going to have be worth a start. I think that the Packers are going to run the ball mostly and go through Aaron Jones on that end. But I do think that Romeo Doubs can get another start-worthy game this week against the Lions. He was worth a start last week, even though I said to leave him on the bench. He was the one of the guys I missed on. But I think Romeo Doubs will find the end zone again against a really bad Lions defense, and he'll be worth a start this week. On the Lions side, the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown, definitely starting him if he's playing. And that's it on the Lions as far as receivers go. So start St. Brown, start Romeo Doubs in this game. Colts Patriots. Colts passing offense was okay last week, not great with the new quarterback Sam Ehlinger getting his first start last week. But I expect Michael Pittman to have another good game just off volume alone against the Patriots. Alec Pierce, though, even though I like him a lot, I have him rostered on a lot of my teams. I'm not starting him this week. I'm definitely not starting Paris Campbell. They can't support three receivers right now. Patriots side, Jacoby Myers is Mac Jones' favorite target, and he feasts most games that Mac Jones plays. So I'm definitely starting Jacoby Myers. But this is going to be a rush-heavy attack from the Patriots, as we're used to seeing. Ramondre Stevenson is going to get a lot of run. Damian Harris is going to spell him. I only start one receiver for the Patriots, and it's Jacoby Myers. I'm sitting Tyquan Thornton, the rookie who has looked good when he's had opportunities. I'm sitting Nelson Aguilar, and I'm sitting Devontae Parker. Bills-Jets. Bills are going to win this game because the Jets' offense can't move the ball. But even though I love the Jets' defensive backfield, specifically Sauce Gardner is about as real as it gets, especially for a rookie. But I'm still starting Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is one of those receivers that no matter what, you start him every week. I don't care how good the Jets' defense is. I'm starting Stephon Diggs. I'm sitting Gabe Davis, who's been much more bust than he has been boom this year. As I said at the beginning, hope you guys listened to me and didn't draft him. But Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie leaving on the bench. Jets side, I'm not starting any wide receivers. Zach Wilson is not that guy. I said it on the night he was drafted that he's not that guy. He's extremely immature. And I don't think that you can start any wide receivers with any confidence with the Jets. So I know Garrett Wilson had a good game last week. That's, I think, his second decent game of the season so far. Zach Wilson is not that guy. Sitting all wide receivers on the Jets until Zach Wilson can show that he's actually improved. Vikings Commanders. Vikings every week I'm starting Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. I say that all the time. Washington Commanders. I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. As long as Taylor Heineke's starting, Terry McLaurin is the receiver to start and to own on the Commanders. McLaurin and Heineke have a good on-field relationship, and McLaurin definitely benefits from that. He had a good game last week. I expect him to have another good game this week against the Vikings. Sitting Curtis Samuel, I'm sitting Jahan Dotson, though. Vegas Raiders, Jacksonville Jaguars. Raiders, huge disappointment last week, got blanked. I expect Devontae Adams to have a giant bounce-back game. I think that Derek Carr is really going to throw him the ball a lot. I know Devontae Adams, too, was having flu-like symptoms last week and is if he's even going to play, and he kind of looked sick still during the game. So I expect a huge bounce back from Devontae, but I think, and you'll hear this in my running back video, I think Josh Jacobs is also going to have a lot of run. So I'm sitting Hunter Renfrow, I'm sitting Matt Collins, but I'm starting Devontae Adams. Jags side, Christian Kirk kind of had a down game last week, but I expect him to rebound against the Raiders, who specifically pass defense hasn't been good all season. So give me Christian Kirk to start. I'm sitting Zay Jones, sitting Marvin Jones Jr. Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals. Seahawks, DK Metcalf is freaking inhuman. He's a Superman. They were saying when he first got his injury that he could be out 2 to 4 weeks, and instead he was out about 2 to 4 days. Started, had a really good game last week. I expect that to continue. The Cardinals have given up a lot of points this year, so I think Lockett and Metcalf are both worth starts. Cardinals on the flip side are having to score a lot, and their offense has been coming alive, especially since DeAndre Hopkins came back. I expect Hopkins to have another good game and Rondale Moore to have another good game, so I'm starting those guys as well. Rams, Bucks. Rams side, Sean McVay says he expects Cooper Kupp to play. If he does, I'm obviously starting him. If Cooper Kupp doesn't play, I'm going to start Allen Robinson. But if Cooper Kupp does play, then I'm not starting Allen Robinson, so I just want to make that very clear. If Kupp plays, then don't start Robinson. If Kupp doesn't play, then you do start Robinson. On the Bucs side, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I'm going to start both of them. Chris Godwin's getting 10-plus targets every game that he's played and been healthy in, so give me Godwin, give me Mike Evans. Julio Jones had a touchdown last week, which saved a pretty poor performance from him, so I'm leaving him on the bench this week. Titans, Chiefs, I'm not starting any Titans receivers, especially if Malik Willis is playing, but not starting any Titans receivers. I haven't all year, and it's not going to start this week. Chiefs side, I'm starting Juju. I'm leaving Kadarius Toney on the bench. I think that Kadarius Toney can produce for them, just not this early. I think he needs more than a week to really get incorporated into the offense. So I'm starting Juju. I think there'll be some design plays for Kadarius, but overall, he's not going to have a great game. And I'm sitting Mecole and I'm sitting MVS. So just Juju as far as wide receivers go for Kansas City. And then our last game, our Monday night game, it's the Ravens and it's the Saints. Ravens side, I'm not starting any receivers. Rashad Bateman's the best guy, and he's out with injury for at least a few weeks, according to Harbaugh. So I'm not starting him, obviously. Devin DuVernay and Demarcus Robinson both had decent games last week, but I'm not starting either of them either. The Saints defense is starting to get it together. They just pitched a shutout last week against the Raiders and held Devontae Adams, I think, to like 2 points. So obviously, if they can do that to him, why can't they do that to these guys who should be third-string receivers on most teams? So not starting any Ravens receivers. On the Saints side, I'm starting Chris Olave every week from here on out. So I'm leaving him in the lineup. And then Jarvis Landry, if he plays, I'm hoping he's back this week. If he plays, I'm starting Jarvis Landry. And that is it. That wraps it up. Like I said, there's 6 teams on bye this week, so we have 3 less games than we usually do. This was a bit of a quicker video for me. But that wraps it up for our Week 9 Stardom Sit-'em. As always, let me know if you have any questions on specific questions to your situation on who to start, who to sit. If you have guys that I've told you to sit all on the bench and that's all you got to choose from, let me know and I'll tell you which one's the best option. But hit me on Twitter, hit us on Instagram. I don't handle our Instagram account, but we'll definitely respond on that side as well. Hit us on Twitter with any questions and also on this YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, let us know. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know any content that you want us to get out. I'm a statistician. If there's anything you want me to look into, let me know as well, and I'll do that for you guys. As always, absolutely free. We love hearing from everyone. We've been getting a lot of questions lately, and we respond as fast as we can. So little understanding if we aren't as fast respond. That's all we ask for is a little bit of understanding, but we try to get to everybody as fast as we possibly can. Thanks, everyone, again, for listening, for watching, for tuning in. As always, when in doubt, hear me out.